He'll make some things happen down the line in the future, but we'll never look at him the same after that destruction. Not to say that we won't respect him, but we'll never look at him the same.
Now everybody know Tank, kind of like he say, they love him too.
It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. You got biased people, unfair people.
Stephen A. Smith has criticized the situation surrounding Gervonta Davis's battle and blasted him for allegedly fixing it. He criticized the judging, raising concerns about impartiality and recommending that Davis face Lamont Roach again to prove himself.
We can debate the top fighter in the world pound for pound. We can do that. What we cannot do is debate who's the most exciting fighter, who's the biggest box office attraction in boxing. That would happen to be Gervonta Davis. We just got to accept it. I think that Frank Martin is a talented fighter. He'll make some things happen down the line in the future, but we'll never look at him the same after that destruction. Not to say that we won't respect him, but we'll never look at him the same because he got destroyed by Gervonta Davis. And that's no shame, that's no slouch, but damn, still in all, if you get destroyed, you get destroyed. Gervonta Davis is the #1 box office attraction. Who I want to see him against next is Shakur Stevenson. I don't want to see him against Devin Haney because Devin Haney has proven to me that he's not a good punch taker. I want to see Gervonta Davis in the ring with somebody perceived as having enough power to put him on the canvas too. That's what I...
Tank Davis was not battling to defend his championship in the manner that a champion should have, according to Coach Bernie, who shared his opinion on the bout. He noted that Davis appeared satisfied with simply making it through, whereas Lamont Roach battled with far greater spirit and energy. The rounds, Bernie also said that someone with Tank's standing and skill shouldn't have finished the battle the way he did. Instead, he thinks Davis ought to have left fans wondering by making a statement in the ring.
He's the champion. He got to defend his title. He got to defend his title. He like I said, they both was looking at each other. And then finally, after look, Tank will be the one to throw the first punch. He felt like he wanted to retain his title. Lamont Roach felt like he was just happy to be there and get the success. He wasn't trying to take the title. He wasn't trying to take the title. And I'm saying that even from the last round, just even the last round, the final 20, 30 seconds of the last round, he wasn't throwing no punches. He looked at him and got caught with a jab. You can't close the show with a guy like that, with a guy like Tank Davis like that. Now, if he'd have had a knockdown or something, like a real knockdown or something, maybe he feeling, but you can't stop until the bell ends. You can't, even if you're being active and slipping and sliding and something, he just standing there looking at him. I don't know. I didn't understand that. I don't understand why fighters sit there and look at each other for a long time. Change the angle. Keep a rhythm in your way. Snap a jab. Do a feint. Ain't no need of you standing there looking at no man for 20 seconds in a fight. That don't make sense. But so I think, like I say, Lamont Roach, he will be kicking himself in the ass that he didn't do more, but grateful that he did enough.
The regulations of the fight between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis were openly questioned by Joe Rogan. According to him, the rules seemed to have been written by lawyers rather than boxing experts, indicating that they were meant to help Davis at the same time. Rogan declared his admiration for Lamont Roach's boxing skills and expressed his amazement at his performance in the ring. Additionally, he made it clear that if the knockdown had been officially documented, Roach would have prevailed in the... The result of the fight shocked and disappointed many professional fighters and commentators. Some even referred to it as one of the most contentious rulings in recent boxing history. Many said that the judges and referees had improperly applied the regulations and that such a judgment tarnishes the sport's legitimacy. The argument about whether Roach was robbed or if Davis deserved the draw has gotten stronger, and both combatants and fans are upset with the decision.
Gervonta Tank Davis says he took a knee because he got his hair done a few days ago and something dripped into his eyes. Ryan Garcia said that Lamont Roach won that fight. And he continues with, not calling that knockdown is the most wild thing I've ever seen in boxing. That type of stuff makes boxing look bad. And then says, crazy shit, see y'all May 2nd. Terrence Crawford said they robbed that boy and it's crazy. Roach won and that should have been called the knockdown. Let's see what happens. Devin Haney says, I was waiting for the backflip. Even Turkey Alashi had something to say about the fight. He said, if you charge people $80 per pay-per-view, you must give them a good card with good production. What are your thoughts? Then Terrence Crawford continues with, some of y'all need to watch Mayweather versus Hernandez and see Mayweather takes a knee because he hurt his hand and it was called a knockdown, not from a punch either. He says, I've never seen someone take a knee and they don't count it as a knockdown. Must have forgot the rules for tonight. And Shakur Stevenson is willing to fight Lamont Roach. But in your honest thoughts, who do you think should have won this fight? Do you believe with the decision as a draw? Or do you think Lamont Roach should have won that fight?
Steve Willis was questioned after the fight about why he did not register the knee as a knockdown and why he decided to declare the bout a draw. Willis chose to remain silent rather than answer questions. Remaining silent has only increased conjecture that the decision-making process was biased. Now, both observers and fans are wondering if Davis received an unfair edge during the bout.
Thinking when Tank did that when he took the knee. What you thinking when he took the knee?
I can't speak on it.
Can't think on that?
Can't speak on it.
He did some bullshit though?
I can't speak on it.
No personal opinion, nothing?
Can't.
Sports. Analysts Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp reviewed the fight and firmly believed Lamont Roach had done enough to win. While they acknowledged Gervonta Tank Davis landed powerful, clean shots, they also pointed out that Roach responded with equal, if not harder, punches. According to them, Roach's resilience and ability to push Davis to the brink should have secured him the victory instead of a controversial draw. Meanwhile, boxing experts have been dissecting the moment when Davis took a knee, comparing it to past instances where fighters voluntarily went down. Historically, when a fighter takes a knee without being knocked down by a punch, it is ruled an official knockdown. The fact that the referee did not apply the same ruling in Davis's case has sparked widespread debate. This controversy has fueled discussions about consistency in officiating and raised questions about potential bias in high-profile fights, making the decision even more scrutinized in the boxing community.
Boom. That lands, and then two jabs after that. And you see a jab on the eye. Tank Davis turns to the referee and kneels. Gentlemen, here in studio, fairly clear that knee touches, that's a knockdown. I don't know how else you can see it. And when people talk about the delay, there was a delay, we've seen much worse delay, especially on body shots. Someone takes a body shot, backs up, and it's several seconds, then they take a knee. And people take knees for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes you're under assault and you need a break. Yeah. It's all a knockdown.
Jimmy, we've seen, if I think of fights in the past where voluntary knees have happened, off of not one single moment or one single punch. You think of Mayweather against Formoso Hernandez. When he lands the punch and turns his back and takes a knee, he gets counted. You think of Miguel Cotto against Antonio Margarito, where, it was under duress and he just took that knee. And, of course, my compadre right here, Chris Algieri against Ruslan Provodnikov as well. It wasn't a particular shot. You feel something, you feel discomfort, you take a knee. All those times, there's a count, dude. And I'll tell you what, Steve Willis also knew there was a count because he started counting and then stopped.
Yeah, we'll get to it. There's more than one pillar of this defense for Lamont Roach Jr., but the first one's a knockdown, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, we have a ton of experts on the panel today. I'm going to speak from a fighter standpoint, just like you did, Champ. And you can argue whether that right hand landed clean or if it landed hard or how hard those jabs were. It doesn't matter. Champ, when you mentioned when I took that knee against Ruslan Provodnikov, I actually didn't get hit. I was still recovering from the last knockdown when my orbital was damaged. My eye was damaged. My vision was impaired. I gave ground so I would keep my opponent off me, and I still couldn't see, so I took it.
Respected boxing referee Jack Rice also offered his opinions on the bout Referees must follow the rules consistently, he clarified, even though they have discretion in their choices. He also underlined that referees are in charge of enforcing the rules around fouls, knockdowns, and unsportsmanlike behavior. According to Rice, the bout may not have been conducted in accordance with accepted boxing rules.
Let me just put out to you guys 3 rules of what a referee has to follow. First of all, the referee is the sole arbiter, the only person able to determine whether to stop a fight or not, and anything else that happens in a ring. The second is part of his ability to do things when fouls occur. If a boxer fouls or acts in an unsportsmanlike manner during the bout or in between rounds, the referee should admonish or disqualify the offending boxer, depending upon the severity of the offense. And number 3, talks about penalizing and points. While warnings are generally preferred, the severity of a foul can warrant the immediate point deduction without any prior warnings. So now what gives a referee the ability to call what you guys are talking about as a knockdown? I don't know if you guys know, maybe you can tell me. If not, I'll surely tell you. Do you guys know what the description of a legal knockdown is?